Good afternoon. This is Mariana Mitchell, and in today's multimedia discussion board for week 2, we are going to be discussing early theory in public administration as is in practice today. So the first one I chose to focus on is going to be what I believe is relevant in today's workplace, especially in public administration. And that would be Mary Parker Follett's Power With versus Power Over. And so this is kind of the first introduction of psychology and the management of people, psychology in the workplace, a humanistic viewpoint of our employees, kind of taking a look at our employees as more than just cogs in the great big machine, but as people with individual characteristics and individual motivations and with their own dreams and aspirations, and having a better understanding of who these people are, how we can work together, creating mutually beneficial relationships is what's important in working with a large organization. And in public administration, this is definitely going to be important as we move into a diverse workplace. You'll see that there's a graphic that depicts a number of generations. This is the first time in history where we've had 4 different generations in the workplace, which means that there's different mindsets, there's different backgrounds, different experiences that are all brought to the table, and we have to learn how to work with this. How do we make this conglomerate of experiences into a successful organization? In my organization specifically, we're focusing on succession planning because of the mass exodus of a number of retirees that are coming about at our executive level over the next couple of years. So for us, this is important because we have to get a better understanding of who our players are, of the people who are up and coming leaders within the organization. How is this going to impact us as an agency? How is it going to impact the community? And we can only do this if we get a better understanding of who our employees are and how, again, we can work together for the benefit of the organization. So I definitely see this as something that's important today and that will continue to be important as we continue to evolve with the world around us. The next theory I chose to focus on was Max Weber's bureaucracy. And I recall back in MPA 510, I also chose to focus on this because I'm very passionate about the way I feel about bureaucracy. I think what people think of bureaucracy today is nothing at all at what Max Weber had intended. Bureaucracy is often looked at as a bad word, as red tape, as an abundance of paperwork and step after step after step in order to get something accomplished. And the basis of Max Weber's bureaucracy was to create clear lines of efficiency and communication and professionalism and specific rules and regulations that there's an answer to every situation. And that's not necessarily how we see bureaucracy today. When we think bureaucracy or some of the worst case scenarios, oftentimes we think of waiting in line at the DMV and the time it takes to get simple things done. Things like the Social Security Office, or more specifically in our agency, our Development Services Division, there's a number of steps to get things done. If you've ever had to rebuild a patio or pull a permit to add a room to your home or be a part of the actual development process, it could be as simple as walking in, getting plans approved and getting your permit, or it could be as in-depth as requiring building inspectors to come out to your home or to your project, going before the Planning Commission, and ultimately going before City Council. So again, there's a number of layers, and I understand that there's a need for this to ensure that everything is accurate, everything is correct. But again, it feels like sometimes we add in additional layers in reaction to something that's gone wrong or somebody who's maybe abused their power. And so we add additional steps or additional paperwork to ensure that it doesn't happen again, when in reality, maybe we need to take a closer look at our organization and how can we be more customer friendly? How can we be more public friendly? Not everybody speaks the same language of public administration as we do. So how do we make things easier to get things done so that life can continue to go on? So again, I'm pretty passionate about it because I think at the basis of what bureaucracy is and what Max Weber had intended, it's a wonderful idea, and I think there's potential for it to continue or to bring it back to what it was intended to, but it's going to take the work of public administrators to take the time and say, okay, this is maybe overkill, or how do we rein this back in? And that's pretty much going to be something that I think is going to be in need of review. And as we move forward and things continue to move forward in public administration, I hope to see that change for the better. So moving forward and looking at those two theories, we want to ask ourselves, so what does the future hold? In public administration, we're still kind of reeling from, or still paying for the price of things like the City of Bell. We've got transparency, where government compensation in California has to report it out to public. We've got a number of things that hold us accountable as public administrators, and I think it's very important that we continue to look at ways to educate ourselves on what is happening out in the world of public administration. I do believe in constantly reviewing what is out there. Networking and education is key. Going through the MPA program with CBU has been eye-opening for somebody, especially because I feel like, oh, I've been in public administration or in the public sector for over 20 years. I still feel like I'm learning things every day throughout this program. So again, education is always going to be key as we move forward, wanting to do what's best for the public, what's best for our community, what's best for the people. Really focusing in on that public service motivation. We're all here because we want to do something good. We want to do good for the community, good, we're all working towards the greater good. So again, just kind of keeping that at the forefront, always reviewing code of ethics, understanding that, we're constantly under a microscope, but, our intentions should always be to do what's best for the people. So again, referring back to the past, the very early theorists, they all have something to offer us in the future, and then just looking for ways to not just follow some of the trends, but maybe take the opportunity to create some of these trends in public administration as we move forward from this MPA program and into the future. So those are just my ideas on some of these things. And I'd like to thank you for your time, for listening to my presentation, and I look forward to hearing any feedback should you have any. Thank you and have a great day.